Ooh, yeah, live already. Gotta remember which camera to look at. All right, wow. I'm waiting for people to come in. What do I have? I have the comments. Yep. All right, cool. Let's go in here. Let's switch out. Switch to you. What is up? Look, we got IS in the building. What's going on? How we doing? Hope everything is going well your way. Let me save this to watch later. Ooh. All right, here we go. All right, just make sure everything is populating. All right. I'm gonna hang tight here for a moment, just waiting for people to come in. I decided to go live today instead of editing any content. I'll probably edit some shorts and get some of those out, but I have come to a place where it's time to take a break. Time to take a break. It is June. We're 6 months into the year, and a lot has happened, and it is time to reflect a bit, look over some things, look and see what worked, what didn't, what can be better, and and of the things that worked, why did they work? So it's time to do that. So I'm excited about that. Awesome. So IS, you said you're editing. That's good. I'm assuming you've got some car content you're working on. That's pretty dope. If you want to share any, what event did you go to recently? Was that Zay's event in Michigan? I'm sipping on some afternoon tea, some white blueberry tea. It's pretty good. It's pretty light, but it's pretty good. Capital Clearwater Foundation. Okay, so you got a client project you're working on. Got it. All right, cool. From 2 Sundays ago. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I've had my share of client project that I've worked on. Not trying to do a whole lot of those, just a few throughout the year. But the biggest part is staying focused on the film that I'm working on and making content for the channel, for your auto enthusiast. So, and I'll share a little bit more about the personal journey, because that has been a big part of my year so far. And in the last couple of weeks, there's been a few key things that have happened that have been, I'd say, like dream come true. Like, it was the thing that I needed to do to get to the next level. So I am grateful for the opportunities and how it even came about. And that goes back to reviewing these last 6 months, and the preparation going into 24, not just what happened in 24, but just the preparing. Can't talk for some reason. The preparing for 2024, and just writing out, what were the goals, and what were the plans, and what were the events, and what were some of those things that I wanted to do. And like I said, in this last couple of weeks, I've taken a moment realizing that June has hit, and I'm like, man, it's 6 months into the year. A lot has happened, and just taking the time to go back and look through what's actually happened, and really just be grateful for the journey, because without making some of those decisions to do what I've been doing, I wouldn't. I'm not here. I'm definitely not here sharing what I'm sharing now. Um, just went for fun. Swole acid, yeah. Catfish shine. Got it. Got it. That's what's up. That's what's up. 3 car shows previous weekend. All right. Into slow down a bit. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I think it's and I'll say I'll get into what it means for me to take a break, and slowing down. Definitely, that is definitely a part of it. And the break really just involves a certain key aspect of the process. It doesn't mean that you stop making content. It doesn't mean that you stop recording. It doesn't mean that you stop coming up with ideas. It just means there's a certain aspect of the journey that has to come to a halt because you're constantly on the go. So I will definitely take a little while to share that with you all. So I hope I hope this information is something that helps you as a creator. And if you're not a creator, you're someone that watches content. I hope it gives you some understanding and clarity on what our process looks like, and that depending on how big our team is, it might just be a team of one, and it might be a team of a few to many. And depending on what that team looks like, that will dictate the ebb and flow of creating content. So hopefully this will be that thing for those that don't know, gives a little bit of clarity on what happens in the process. So, I kind of want to just roll into sharing. One, I'm AB Wright. I am the creator, producer of Euro Auto Enthusiast. Euro Auto Enthusiast was born out of just a passion and love for cars, and it started with picking up a camera, A6000. This is my A7 III. I've had this for about 3 or 4 years. A6000 I picked up in 2018 and just went out and started shooting car photography just for fun. And when Instagram began to change its, I guess TikTok had been on the rise for a while. Hey, what's up, bro? I see you. TikTok had been on the rise with vertical content, and everyone's flocking that to do dance challenges and those sorts of things. It wasn't quite the thing for us photographers, videographers in a sense, but slowly but surely, especially pushing through events of 2020, it became the place to be. But as Instagram and eventually YouTube would come around for vertical video content, I began to shoot more video content, and therefore YouTube did come about. This particular channel did come about because I wanted to do DIYs to give back to the community. Because when I wanted to figure out how to work on my BMWs, I ran straight to YouTube, looked it up, and found content. So I wanted to do the same, and that was how I felt like I was giving back to the community. And in a sense of just giving back to the BMW community and then the YouTube automotive space, doing the after movies, going to various shows like Slammed Enough and Tuner Evo and several different shows that I've been to, doing after movies, doing my rendition of after movies. That was another way to kind of share the experience and give a little bit of entertainment, and then learn how to edit too, like learn how to storytell and kind of bring you into the event, and sharing the excitement and awe of seeing the cars and the people and dogs and food and everything else that would happen, different things that just would happen, um, impromptu things, and bring you along. So, just making it fun, making it something worth watching. So that's how I got into the YouTube space, into the YouTube journey, and that has been since 2019. Here we are, 2024, and I'll say going into this year, much different approach, much different game plan to making content. Number one, I have a different vehicle have added a different vehicle to the channel, Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. Why I can't talk today? Oh my gosh. Let me sip some more tea. Maybe I need some water. I have no idea. My words are getting stuck. But the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio, or QV. You may hear me say Stelvio QV. That's what I'm talking about. And beautiful, beautiful Italian car. Very stupid fast. A stupid fast Italian with a 2.9 liter twin turbo V6, Ferrari inspired, and the damn thing is stupid fast. So another car came to the channel. I've had that car for about a year, so a bit of a different approach to the content that I was sharing to my audience. So I needed to think about what that content would be. I needed to think about going to different events. Most of the events I was going to were catered to like the Euro and even JDM scene. And the Alfa Romeo is an Italian car. There's not, you won't see any Alfa Giulias or Stelvios for that matter, but primarily Giulias. Not that you won't see them in that space, which one of the events was. I'll talk about that in a moment. This Giulia QV GT took the show. It stole the show. So but not that those cars wouldn't be at that event, but I needed to look elsewhere. Where are the Italian events, and where are the exotic car events that I need to really start dialing into. And that was the game plan for the year. And the other part to it was filmmaking. Filmmaking is a huge part to my journey now. Storytelling, even sharing the videos that I share. Storytelling is a big part of that. It's not just the cinematics. It's not just the cars. It is about the people who drive the cars. It is about the story behind the car that I'm most interested in. The car is beautiful. That's going to always draw people in. How the mods, whether it's a classic, whether it's high mileage like mine, the E92 M3 with a lot of miles, and shockingly in great shape because it's been maintained. And then other people that have classic cars that it's never been touched, never been what's the word I'm looking for, never been refreshed in any type of way. It's all original. It's just been kept clean. Maybe it's not, maybe it's got a few spots that need to be fixed here and there, but everybody's car is different, and there's a story behind all of that and how they've acquired it, and what connections being in the car community has allowed for them, and of course even myself, to have, because of that similar passion and that language that we speak in the car community. So those are the things that I look for, and those are the stories that I'm interested in telling. So it kind of rolls me into the beginning of the year. In January or February, I believe February actually, there was Beamer Invasion Orlando that I was wanting to go to, but I couldn't go to because I already had a scheduled shoot in Tennessee. And so I didn't end up going to Beamer Invasion. But even if I wanted to go to Beamer Invasion, and I can't remember, there was another event. I want to say there was an event. It might have been Turner Evo in Florida. And I was trying to rush and get the M3 ready because I wanted to start the 200K mile campaign for the car. If you don't know already and haven't seen any of the videos just yet, there is a video where I talk about the E92 M3, the number of miles that is on it, which at that time was 173,444. It's at 173. It was 173,888. It's more than that now because I drove it last night, and but it has not had rod bearings done. I have not done throttle actuators. I don't intend to do it unless I just really end up needing to. Let's just say that. So hopefully engine doesn't blow. Hopefully I don't hear the ticky ticks, which means it is a ticking time bomb for sure at that point. But at that time, I am, looking to make it to 200,000 miles. And at that time, having the rod bearings done, looking that over to see if they are in fact the original rod bearings, because I am the second owner. I bought it in 2016 with less than 60,000 miles. I believe about 57,000 miles. And to my understanding, the car had been serviced at BMW of San Antonio for its life. So, and with that said, rod bearings had not been done. So the game plan is to get 200K. That's the game plan on the E92 M3, and we're going to see if that makes it. But that's what was happening in the beginning of the year, was to start that campaign, and the first trip was going to be to either Beamer Invasion in Orlando or a different event. I believe it was maybe Bradenton, Florida, or Tampa, Florida. I can't remember where exactly it was going to be, but somewhere in Florida. But that fell through. The event or the client project that fell through as well. Funding just wasn't there to make that make sense for me to come. So yeah, so that fell through. So I didn't end up doing that. And then some of the events I started going to, and I went to some events with the idea of getting interviews. Remember, I talked about the movie, the film, the documentary that I'm working on. This year involved me really getting a lot of the conversations with the enthusiasts and the owners of these cars. And that did not happen. Or it was difficult in happening, because when you go to some of these events, like an Italian event, you might have somebody singing opera or Italian music live. So, and not that it wasn't beautiful, it was very beautiful to capture the young lady singing and to feel the essence and the vibe of that venue and the way everything was laid out. It was different from any other event that I had been to when it comes to Beamers, BMWs or JDMs or tuners or any of that. And definitely any events where it was, at the track or was American Muscle inspired or anything like that. So yeah, way different. So it was great to experience that. But I didn't get the opportunity to get the interviews that I wanted to get. I did get content, but that was kind of a bummer. It had me feeling a kind of way. And I remember going to the event. I was late hearing about the event somewhat, but I didn't get a chance to register the Stelvio QV into it. And there was no representation of the QV. There was representation of Alphas and Fiats, but there was no, there was 4Cs, there was Julias, there was I can't think of the other models that are there, but plenty of other models. But I did meet one other guy that had his Stelvio QV. I think he was the 18 or 19. Had his there. Beautiful red with the 21-inch wheels, flat face, 5-spoke, 5-hole drill. Man, it was sweet. But he didn't put his in either. So no Stelvios was there to represent. So even getting to the event, my nerves was rattled. Everything was just kind of off. So it threw off that event. And I had a couple of other events that happened like that. And that was in the beginning of the car season. So we're talking February, March, maybe even April. So it caused for me to, it caused me to really think about what was I going to do about content? Like, what was I going to do about the plans that I had for the channel? And I think I really just had to come down to focusing on, I realized there was DIYs that still needed to be done on the Alpha. There was a few DIYs to be done on the M3. But my focus for the year, I really wanted it to be Alpha for the Alpha community. There's definitely not a lot of QV videos or DIYs or anything out there. And so I wanted to make sure that's there. So when people do start owning more of these cars, which I'm seeing more people own as we get, down the road through the year and through the years to come, especially since they're not making any more, the 2024 Giulia Stelvio QVs is it. That's it. The 2.9 liter twin turbo V6 Ferrari inspired F8 Tributo V8 engine. That engine that's not going to be in them anymore as they go. They're doing the electrified thing too. So these cars aren't around. The more people own them, and maybe the more people that get comfortable working on their cars, turning a wrench on their cars, the content will be there for you to turn a wrench on your car or do simple stuff like change your wipers. I mean, that's uh that's a hard one to do, believe it or not. If you don't know how to do it, you can break some stuff really easily, especially on the rear window of the Stelvio. Um, but putting it in service mode as well, and for changing the front wipers, and there's a few other things that I've shown already. Changing the spark plugs, changing the air filter. I need to do the cabin air filter and show you how to do that, as well as I've done brakes, and there's a few other things I need to do the belt and some other things as well. But like I said, if there's not going to be a lot of you, I already know that, so I'm not looking for there to be hundreds of thousands or millions of views on this thing. That's just not realistic. What's realistic is there's probably going to be a few hundred to 1,000 of you that need to watch it or whatever happens. I can't dictate what views it's going to get, but it's there. It will be there. So for the one person that needs it, as long as there's one other person that needs it, then the job is done. The job is done. That's how I have to look at this type of content, because it's so niche. Now, with that, there were some great things that happened in that timeline, April, that February, April, May timeline. I did something. So for my personal and my filmmaking side of the house, I attended South by Southwest. And I'll rephrase that. I didn't just attend South by Southwest. I actually was a theater manager. So I volunteered. I worked at South by Southwest at South Lamar Theater, where basically the filmmakers had their film showcase, and they would come in. And of course, we got people that want to come in to watch the films, but we're making sure that they are set up to, their entourage of however many people are there to see the film, and have the Q&A and things afterwards, and make sure we have the moderators and stuff in place. And if they weren't there, then maybe I was scheduled to be the moderator, and I did do that a couple to three times. So, and it was cool. It was cool. I got a chance to actually meet with fellow filmmakers, directors, producers, cinematographers, editors. Like, it was pretty cool. And of course the actors. So it was great to have these conversations with like-minded filmmakers, creators, telling stories and understanding, how long it actually took to create a film. And some of these films were, 10, 15 years in the making, because it was their own personal life story that ended up being a film. It just was them documenting the process. And I'm saying that particular one was a young lady from Japan who was documenting a judicial process, and she ended up telling her story in a documentary. So it was her directorial debut. Pretty cool. And then I talked to a cinematographer was he from Poland or UK? Oh man, I can't remember where he was from. New Zealand? Yeah, it wasn't Australia. I think I almost said Australia. Definitely not Australia. It was European. So I can't remember where he's from, but I met and talked to him. I saw there were some shots in the film that I was just like, the angle that you took, like, what was the inspiration behind the angle on that? And sometimes it was like, because of this angle, it does this thing. And there is psychology to angles, whether it's lower, upper, close-ups, wide angle, colors, and lighting, and all sorts of things for mood. So there is a reason for these shots. So I had my thought process and my speculation on why. So I asked to see what his answer was going to be, and it was exactly what I thought. So that made me feel pretty good. I was like, okay, I'm understanding this stuff more and more, because sometimes in the early days, the early parts of creating content, we're just shooting. We're just shooting, and I learned along the way about angles and tempo and lighting and all of that. So, and that was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to have the conversation with him. I made some really solid connections with people. And one of the connections that I made that I'll follow up here in a moment that just happened in the past 2 weekends. So I'll let you know what that connection was here toward the end, because that's going to bring us into, the wrap up of these 6 months. So South by happened, and that gave me a lot of positive momentum moving into the rest of creating content, because like I said, the other opportunities or events I had gone to kind of had left me feeling like that didn't work out. And it's okay. It's okay. If it's another thing that I've learned from fellow creators and especially filmmakers, is that there's been projects they have made that after a couple of years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, it just gets scrapped until maybe one day it's revived and it's used. But you honestly got to be willing to shoot the content and just know if it's not what you want, like it's legit not what you wanted, there is no salvaging it, then you scrap it. Like, even if you can't make any reels or shorts, maybe you can, but as a full length project, maybe you're scrapping that, and you got to be okay with that. And that's what I've learned. I learned two things, big things, coming out of both South by Southwest and even this more recent event, and some other networking events as well. The big thing that I learned was, number one, when you go in with a guidance, and you go in with foresight, vision, and an idea of what you want it to look like, you don't have to settle for less. I mean, it's a passion project. It's not like it's a client project. That's different. A passion project, you don't have to settle for less. If it's not what you're wanting, then you keep going till you get it the way you want. It doesn't mean it's perfect. That's the difference. It doesn't mean that it's not what you want and it has to be perfect. It has to be as close to perfection, or what you feel is perfection, but as close to perfection as you want it to be, as long as it's telling the story, it's conveying the emotion that you want from people, not just from you, but maybe you're getting some, you got a small group of people that you come do a little test pilot, and let them see a little private screening, and do some surveys and see what they say. And if they give feedback that is on par with what you're saying, cool. If they give feedback that is different, then maybe you do have to look at it from a different angle, and maybe you are telling, you want to tell that story a little bit differently, or take that shot a little bit differently, or show that shot a little bit differently. So it's okay. Like I said, you go in it with a vision. If it doesn't work out the way you want it to work out, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Try to figure out what you can do to salvage it and go from there. And then the other thing is, take your time. That was the big part that I learned. Take my time with doing this stuff, because I always felt from day one of making content that if I shot it, I need to edit it, and I need to put it out in the order in which I shot it. Period. If I went to this event first and two more events after that, then I need to put that first event first and let the other two ride in order. And that's not the case, because the story that you want to tell, or the impact of the story, or something that was learned in that piece of content that was filmed at that event, may be more pressing. It may be perfect timing for what's happening in the world, what's happening in the climate, or it really touches or resonates with you on something that like, man, I got to share this. So, we put all these constraints on ourselves to be perfect, and we put all this extra weight on ourselves for this to be the best thing ever. And sometimes we put these unrealistic expectations, unrealistic chains on ourselves of creating content, and it's not even necessary. Nobody's doing that to us but us, ourselves, individually. We're thinking that the people watching is feeling some kind of way, is not going to understand it, this is not going to come across right. They're going to know that this is out of sequence. They're like, no, bro, you supposed to went to Impact after going to, you're supposed to go to Impact before going to Beamer Invasion, or LA. So what? If LA was more important than Impact, and I put that one out first, then so be it. And guess what? It probably would be 3-4 months apart. So, but I'm saying we put that constraint on ourselves. And that was the thing that I learned, that this stuff takes time, man. It takes time. Again, know what it is that you want. Be engaged with your audience. It doesn't mean that you don't care about how they feel or what they would like to see. And sometimes you are trying to meet expectations. With doing the DIY, I am trying to meet an expectation of it being to the point, but also clarifying the things that need to be clarified that I see nobody else did. That was one of the main reasons I started doing DIYs. The big reason I started doing DIYs was I would watch a DIY, get to doing the thing, get to the part, or one little rivet, one little whatever it was, and they made it seem like it just came right off, or they made it seem like it was so easy to get to. And when you go to do it, it's like, no, the hell it ain't. Like, this thing is taking me 10 hours. You made it seem like it took 2 minutes or 2 seconds. The editing magic of creating content. So the whole reason I really got into doing DIYs, other than giving back, was like, man, I was doing these DIYs. I'm like, bro, this was not, y'all missed it. That was very deceiving to make me think that it was that easy. Let me dispel that and let me show that, hey, it's more simple than that. Or, hey, take your time because you might break this. Take your time because you might miss this. Take your time and make sure you have this part. Make sure you have this tool. The last thing you want to do is tear everything down. And it was one particular tool that you needed that you're not going to be able to find at the Pep Boys or at Advance or at AutoZone or Walmart or whatever. You're going to have to order it from ECS Tuning or FCP Euro or one of the other sites. So, those will be the things that I highlight in DIYs, because they can make or break the project. They can make or break the DIY. So I'm trying to help you and make what you're looking for out of the DIY, out of every DIY, be the thing that you need to look for. Like, hey, AB is going to make sure that I'm not effing this up. He's going to make sure that I got the right tools, I got the right parts, I got the right fluid, I got all the things that I need. And it's going to give me some gems on what can make it a little easier. And it's going to help me not break the whole thing. So, that was the big part of, setting the expectation for who's viewing my content. But at the end of the day, some of the pieces of content it's all on me. It's how is it delivering the message that I wanted to deliver? Am I telling the story? Am I sharing the thing about the person that I want to share? Or am I sharing the experience the way I want to share it? So those are some key things that I learned, to just take my time, just take my time. And I can pull some Rick Rubin quotes. I wish I had the book in here. I would pull it out right now, but there's a quote in there. I got to share this one. Hold on. Let me go grab that book real quick. Okay. Hopefully that didn't. I'm back. Okay, so I'm gonna read this little excerpt here. All right, this is the book first and foremost. So it's The Creative Act, A Way of Being, and that's by Rick Rubin. It's probably backwards on here because of the way I got the camera set up. But and the chapter, I'm on page 77 where it says "Make It Up." So I'm gonna read a couple of the highlighted points. I might just read the paragraph, so bear with me. I think it's very, very important, and not just as creators of content, but just life, period. It says, while the emotional undercurrents of self-doubt can serve the art, they can also interfere with the creative process. Beginning a work, completing a work, and sharing a work. So beginning the thing, completing the thing, and sharing the thing. All right. These are key moments where many of us become stuck. And that's exactly it. We get stuck trying to start it. We get stuck trying to finish it. And then we get stuck after we do all that, sharing it because we think it is poorly made, or it's not going to be received well, or We're going to get trolls talking about X, Y, or Z, and all the self-doubt, the negative talk that comes in that disrupts the start of it, the completion of it, and the sharing of it. That is so, so true. All right, how do we move forward? Considering the stories we tell ourselves. One of the best strategies is to lower the stakes. Lower the stakes. Like, it's not going to be your perfect thing. Lower the stakes. All right, here we go. Let me say how he said it. We tend to think that we are making the most. We tend to think that what we're making is the most important thing in our lives and what is going to define us for all eternity. That part. Consider moving forward with the more accurate point of view that it's a small work, a beginning. It's just a part of the process. It's a piece, it's a cog in the wheel. It's just one small piece of the big picture. All right. The mission is to complete the project so you can move on to the next. Complete the project so you can move on to the next. What I realized in this right here, everything that was said, is that every project that we work on is the next step or the next piece to us becoming better. The next part of the process to us getting to who we're destined to become, to getting us to the project that is going to change our lives forever. That's what each step is. And even in the most recent piece of content that I made after reading that is what I read that morning, sitting in my Zen nook having tea. I read that and I went into making that what was it? The impact short. What did I call it? The impact. What was it? Not a short film, not a after. I called it after short. That's what it was. The after short. So instead of an after movie, I called it after short for short film, because those are normally anywhere from 3 to like 9 minutes, 3 to 11 minutes. I forget the actual cutoff. I want to say 3 to 9 minutes is it. So those are short films, and then regular films, hour and a half, hour, 90 minutes, whatever. So I wanted to do a short, like 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. That's what I wanted to do. But even going into that, I said, what can I learn from today? What can I learn from today making this piece of content? And most of the content I had shot had been on this A7 III, because it had been vlog style, right? Talking to the camera, vlog style, and then also taking this and shooting photography. Look, let me tell you, if you want your camera to shoot some photography, A7 III is still it. And I've seen Sony or Best Buy. Best Buy has knocked off $500 on this phone, on this camera. So you can get this camera for about $1,200-$1,300 now. That's just the body. That's just that. Well, not the mic either, but just the body. It's the body. But I paid $2,000 for this thing. So yeah, that's the play on that if you want the A7 III still. But that's what I normally shoot on. But I had been shooting events on the FX3. But because I'm so used to shooting on the A7 III, I hardly really use this, because remember, I got discouraged because this mic right here, this mic is amazing. It picks up, it picks up very, very well. I won't get into how far the birds were that this mic picked up, and clearly with background noise, cars going by and everything. But I hadn't really used this. This camera's expensive, and I'd like for projects to pay for me using this, but I got to learn my way around using it, right? So the last few events, I have taken it, I have shot with it, and so here was the game plan. I said, I am going to give myself 3 hours to edit, and I already knew that in editing, the color grading is always the part that takes me the longest. And I said I would like to color grade in better than an hour, so under an hour. And I'll just say I missed the 3 hour mark. I think I did go into about 3 hours 45 minutes, but the catch was the color grading. It only took me about 30 minutes. Because I use the FX3, and I'm not sure what's happening with the newer cameras and the LUTs the lookup tables or LUTs that you apply to the newer camera, or at least the newer Sonys versus the older 8-bit A7 III. This is 8-bit. That one I shot in 10-bit. So of course it's more information, more definition, more colors, everything. So when I applied the LUT, it brought everything back almost perfectly. But when I would apply the LUT or go through the different LUTs to apply it to this, as of this year, maybe even the last couple of months, those same LUTs, they are causing havoc. They're wreaking havoc. It's taking me a while to go through and really dial in the shadows, get the exposure right. It's like it is just off for whatever reason. So I think maybe the LUTs have been upgraded or something. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of how those things work, but I'm assuming maybe they have been touched up to work better for 10-bit cameras versus an 8-bit camera. I don't know, but all I know is those same LUTs used to work for this pretty seamlessly. Not now, but I did notice on the FX3, beautiful, and it did not take me the same hour 20 minutes to color grade. It took me like 30 minutes to color grade. It was phenomenal. So like I said, going into that, I didn't get stuck on whether this scene is going to flow right, if they're going to understand that. Should I put I put the stuff in that I wanted to put in. I worked on something, and I feel like I am a better editor because of that, let alone creator, but a better editor because of that. Because now I know, all right, I'm going to definitely use this more, and I'm going to see how well this actually shoots photos. It is, it's a cine camera, but it does shoot photos. So I am going to check and see if I like the photos. I love the photos out of this. I've learned my way around Lightroom. I understand how to bring in what I want in a photo. So but I'm gonna figure out how to use that. All right. So all right, let me see. I missed some stuff here. IS says you're talking about. You said tired of clicking. Not sure what that was or what I was even talking about at that point. So I'm gonna come on down. Take me a whole day. Okay, hold on. What does he say here? It says, so much for looking and reviewing this hour-long video. Layered it like 3 times. I know that feeling. Took your whole day. So you got a Nikon D3300, 24-bit. That's dope. And do you shoot photography only with that, or do you shoot video with that? 24-bit? Jeez. Okay. Wow. Yeah. That's pretty dope. Nikon. I'll say this, sometimes there's a conversation about what camera is better. Depends on the situation. The Samurai, I can't talk again. The Sony's, the Sony cameras, I had mixed it. I put it together, Samuras. The Samuras, Sony cameras shine in low light because of their sensors. They have great sensors, and they really shine if you are a night photographer, a night shooter. You're going to be shooting scenes that is not going to be well lit. You're using ambient lighting, natural sources of light, because of course if you're using a big light source or lighting and all that kind of stuff, then it really won't matter. But that's where Sony shines, especially where I'll say that I noticed Canon shines. Canon has a very good color profile out the gate. So if you shoot photography or you shoot video with a Canon camera, you can almost not have to edit. You might mess around with the highlights and the contrast and a little bit of the shadows, but I think from saturation standpoint, from luminance, from some of the other sharpness. I won't say so much sharpness, but I think as far as like the color profile, I think that's the part where Canon wins out of the box, So, but as far as Nikon and some of the other ones, I've never shot with those. Hell, I've never shot with a Canon either, but I know Canon shooters, and when they show me stuff right as they take it, is like fire, no LUTs, no nothing, just raw fire. Video and photo. Okay. Shoot 60p. Yep, that's good. That's where the 873 falls short. You're only getting the max you're getting is 30 frames per second on 1080, and then you are going to get, I want to say, what are you going to get? That way I don't have to guess. How about that? You are going to get, what are we shooting in? Are we getting 60? Yeah, you are going to get 60 when you're shooting like slow-mo. So, but your regular 1080p, yeah, you're only going to get 30. So that is where the FX3 comes in, because I get 60. I can shoot 60. The funny part is I still haven't been shooting 60. I've only been shooting 30 frames per second. So, but the part to that is I've been shooting with this for so many years that I have learned how to move slow with this when it comes to panning, when it comes to any of my movements around cars and people and things like that, that I almost don't even have to slow anything down. I just move really, really slowly, really, really precisely with the camera. So I almost don't even have to slow anything down in post. So the 60 frames per second almost is not necessary unless it is moving objects and you're trying to slow that down. Got it. So what am I going to roll into now? I want to roll into one more thing here, or maybe two more things. We've gotten past South by Southwest. We've gotten past some of the events. Let me talk about some of the events that I went to. So since I'm talking about exotic cars, and let me see, can I share my screen? I do want to share my screen and show you some of the photos, at least, that I've taken with share screen. Okay, let's do this. Google Chrome, got it. Of course, I got to get this thing. Chrome. No, we have to do that later. I'm not sure what happened there, but I'm not even trying to share Google. Yeah, I'm trying to share this. There we go. All right. Chrome's not permission. All right, maybe I'm not going to. Okay, looks like I'm not gonna be able to share the screen without me dropping out, so I'm not going to do that. I'll make sure it's set up next time. But I was just going to show you some photos of some of the cars. If you're not following me on Instagram, follow me there, and I'm actually on Vero too. So, but for the most part, as far as Euro Auto Enthusiast is concerned, check me out on Instagram. A lot of the photos and stuff get posted there, primarily in the stories. Of course, the reels will get posted from events. Like I said, I will post those up pretty quickly, and then come around with actual long form content. So yeah, so some of the events that I went to an exotic. I went to the Italian motor show in Bernie, Texas. A lot of Ferraris and Lambos, of course, and Alphas and Fiats and Triumphs, and they even had bikes out there. They had, of course, Maserati was there, and oh my gosh, I can't even get it out. Did I see any Koenigsegg's there? I don't believe I saw any Koenigsegg's at that event. Yeah, I can't remember if I saw Koenigsegg's at that one, but of course Ferrari. Plenty of those were there. But then come forward to maybe about a month or two ago. There was an event at the Domain. It was some kind of exotics and something. I can't remember the name. Elegance and Exotics. That was the name of it. At the Domain, which is an upscale shopping center mall area here in Austin, and that was pretty darn dope. You had a bunch of SVJs, Aventador SVJs there, and you had everything else: Lotuses, Ferraris, other Lambos, of course. You had some other like Ford GTs and Koenigsegg's and Paganis, and just, oh my gosh, just a lot of stuff. Porsches, of course. Of course, you had some BMWs there. A lot of stuff, man. A lot of exotic cars. And then there was another event called Hypercar Genesis. Hypercar Genesis was that event, and they actually unveiled a car. So this guy, I hate when I forget names. Let me see. What is your name? Sasha. So his name is Sasha. He's actually the person that designed for Koenigsegg, I believe, for Pagani and Lamborghini and some other brands. And now he is a part of his own brand, his own car, and that the car was revealed at this particular show. Not the physical car, but the video and stuff of it. If I can do it any justice with this poster that I got from the event, this is it. I'm gonna just go back some. Let me move the mic. This is what that looks like. So yeah, that is whew. That is like whoa. Whoa. Let me take that down. All right, hold on. Let me try that again because I had that on screen. Let's do that again. Yes, that right there. Yeah. I forgot how he pronounced it. Nilu? I think it's Nilu. Nilu is how it's pronounced. Man, that thing looks crazy. That thing looks crazy. OMG. So, and at that event, there was, of course, like I said, Pagani's. There was Koenigsegg, like a Regera was there. I haven't seen a Koenigsegg Regera since Ferrari Lake Forest in 2019, I think. 2019 was when I shot some photos of a Regera. So it was a Jesco, the Agera RS, and the Regera Raven. Those three were there. I don't remember if Christian von Koenigsegg was there. I feel like he was, and that's so crazy. It's so crazy going back, looking over the journey, and I'm just a kid in the candy store. I'm that person that does not know I'm in the presence of celebrity, or in this particular case, the brains, the developer, the architect, the visionary of Koenigsegg, but I believe he was there. Now that I've seen him a few times on other videos and seeing his stature and what he wears, I remember seeing somebody there that was dressed like him, and it could have very well been him. I could be wrong, but I feel like he was actually there at that event. I may have to comb through some old content and see if he was there, but yeah, that was the last time I had seen a Regera. So, people have them, and this was their first time seeing it, and just to see their reaction of seeing this car, it's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy if sometimes if you're not cognizant of how blessed you really are and opportunities you're really having that no one else is having, you miss out on life. Like, you literally miss out on life. And it's like being in the moment is so real. I posted in the group today on Instagram, and I think I definitely posted on my stories too, that I am learning to be in the moment. I'm learning to live life in the moment, not thinking I'm here. Like right now, I'm here. I'm thinking about talking to you because that's what I'm doing. I'm not thinking about anything else past being right here. I'm not thinking about anything else prior to being right here, unless it has to do with sharing the content and the lessons learned, like what I'm doing right now. But that's the thing. Like, go into these moments with the understanding of how blessed you really are to be in that moment. Because when you look back, when you get a chance to look back over your life, whether that's a week from now, a month from now, year, 5, 10, 20 years from now, you can look back and say, man, I really had some amazing opportunities and I am so grateful for them, versus missing out on the opportunity because you didn't take a chance to bet on yourself to go do it, or that you didn't, you was in the moment. Excuse me, you were there, but you weren't in the moment. Like you were just busy thinking about, man, I'm here shooting cards, man. I want to be at home eating a burger. I want to be at home, or I want to be wherever it is, thinking about something else instead of like in the moment building on the version of you right now to become your better version later. Like, ooh, I digress. Looking at those people made me feel really good about the opportunities I have had leading up to now, because that opportunity is just now happening for someone else. It doesn't make my opportunity better, greater, nothing like that. I'm just saying I'm glad I recognized my opportunities then, and or at least since then, because I'll be honest, I didn't really recognize it then. I did recognize it at some point in time shortly thereafter, but now seeing someone else experience the same thing I experienced, it's amazing. It's beautiful. That in and of itself is its own story. Oh man. So what do we have here? Back to the comments. What are you saying in the comments? All right. So, yeah, did 60p, then tried to change it. Editing 24 messed up. Looked like a real, real movement. Do you keep it relatively close to 60 or 30 to shoot those? Of a rim moving. Now, it doesn't matter if it's 60 or 30. What matters is going to be your shutter speed. What's the effect you're trying to get at the end? Are you trying to see the wheel as it's moving? Are you trying to see the spokes of the wheel or the design of the wheel as it's moving? Because if that's what you're trying to get, you've got to up your shutter speed. So you need to up your shutter speed to like 250, 200, something like that. Maybe as low as 160, depending on how fast it's moving. But you need to up the shutter speed so that it actually you capture the wheel moving. 30 or 60 don't matter if the shutter speed is not right. So you have to understand the correlation of shutter speed, shutter angle, your frames per second, and then of course your ISO, keeping all that in mind. So and then what your aperture is set to, that's also going to be a thing too. So all those different things kind of offset themselves. I won't get into how that works on this episode. But maybe there's a conversation about that one-on-one, or maybe there's a conversation that I share that with. If that's something y'all want to talk about, then of course that is something I can bring to the table on a live, if that's what you like to know about, what camera settings I use, and how I get the shots I get, and what do I do in post to bring those things out, because sometimes what you shoot is ideal, but the lighting wasn't right. A setting was off a little bit, and then you got to go in post and really bring stuff back. But you got to be really dialed in on how to do that in post, and what software, what application you're using. So if you're using DaVinci Resolve versus Final Cut versus Premiere, or even CapCut. So those are the kind of things to keep in mind. So yeah, so that event. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get back down here to, you were saying you ever did nothing higher. And nothing higher, we all equal. I'm not sure what that means. You have to tell me. We could design that car or something like it easily. Okay. I don't know what that means either, because Um, you can't design with somebody, you cannot design anybody else's vision. I think that's where we get lost on comparing. I don't like comparing things or trying to minimize somebody else's work, because his vision for that car, all the different elements, all the shapes, the lights. I don't know. I don't know if you've ever produced a piece of content that was inspired by something from culture or a culture, something that someone said or did, a design piece, some sculpture, or maybe just a region that you went to and you incorporated that in your work. You'll never design what somebody else designed, especially if you're comparing that you can make it or do it as easy as they can make it. Nobody can do what I do they can't do what I do. Not on the scale that I do it, because of the vision that I have behind it. There's a reason I do what I do when I do it. Nothing is ever done happenstance. Now, there may be something that comes out of it happenstance. I happen to be at the right place at the right time. Yes, those are those things, but no one can create the same thing as anyone else. I don't know if that is what you were saying, but that I'm just sharing what I want to clarify, if that happened to be what you're saying. But nobody can easily design anything that requires vision, that is taking from influence, that is taking something from what's the other word I'm looking for? That is paying homage to something else. Because oftentimes you'll find out these cars are designed, they have design language based on an experience, based on something that they're paying homage to, or something that has influenced them. We all live separate lives. Everybody's journey is different. We could be in the same place at the same time and experience two different things. We see two different things, hear two different things, or three, or four, or five, or however many people are there at the same time. That's however many people are there. That's how many different variations of that experience you're going to get. So, yeah, that's my take on on what that was. Um, is what we created to be. Some people are in better positions of power. It ain't got nothing to do with all that. Like stop giving the power away. Everybody has. I'm gonna flash it up because I didn't flash the other one. It is what we created to be, and I agree with that. Some people are in better positions of power, and it depends on what you put on power. I think we talk about privilege. We talk about privilege. Everybody has some privilege over someone else. If we're busy looking at what the other person has, we can't take advantage of what we have the advantage of. Because if we're comparing ourselves to somebody else, then you're comparing yourself to somebody else. I'm not going to compare myself to somebody else. I might look at someone else's work. I may value something that they did. I may recognize that they had an opportunity that I didn't have because of where they are in life, because of who they happen to know. They were born on a different day, a different month, a different time. I cannot control any of that. So where somebody has an advantage in one way, I got an advantage in another way. That's all I can say. My life experience is different from your life and anybody else's life on here. Um, I don't think anybody on here, and I'm just using myself as an example, I don't think anyone can say they have lived the life that I have lived and went from point A to where I'm at in the same exact order. It has taken me a long time to get to where I'm at in my creative career. Some people knew they were creators early. Like some people had parents that recognized their creativity and they believed in them and they sold into them from the time they were 2 years old, 3 years old, 4, whatever. They heard the first song that they belted out, the first chord that they played, the first drawing that they drew, the first race they ran, the first life they saved, whatever it was, and they sold into that, and they were able to take off with life from an early jump. Some people like me caught it late because I tried 5 million different things. I wasn't scared to try and take a bunch of different jobs and see if I liked them or not. That's the route I went. Baseball ended up being the thing that worked out for a while. Military ended up being a thing that worked out for a while. But at the end of the day, I knew from early on that cars was my thing. And I knew from probably 14 or 15 that I don't like people telling me what to do. So even though I joined the military and even though I played sports where people are constantly telling me what to do, I knew that wasn't going to last long. I just knew I wasn't going to be doing that the rest of my life. Eventually, I'm going to be running my own company, doing my own darn thing. That's where I'm at now. It took me now to get there. And then guess what? There's people in their 70s and 80s and still haven't quite figured out what they're doing. And they may figure it out before their time, and they may not. So I hate to get on that rant, but when people say, when I read, I won't say when people say, when I read things like that without context, that's how it comes off to me, is that we make the statements become very generalized when our lives are very different, and the context of my life and your life are so different that we cannot put them on the same page. It just does not work that way. It absolutely does not work that way. So I just respect what people do, how they do it, with where they're at. Give them their kudos. Maybe there's a way that we can work together in the future. Maybe there's not. Maybe they don't give two shits about what I'm doing, don't even know who I am. Maybe they do know who I am, and maybe they are looking at what I'm doing and taking some cues from what I'm doing, or looking to see what's going to happen down the line and what my character is, and what my vision is, and how they're going to be able to help. You never know who's watching what. So there's some places of greater influence or power. Hey, kudos to them, because it might serve me down the road. So and it may never serve me down the road. But at the end of the day, we all have some level of privilege. We all have some level of privilege. We got to figure out what it is and execute on that. That's what is going to make us outshine the next person. That's like a sport. Like one athlete is, one basketball player or football player, we'll just say basketball, or I'm gonna say baseball, so that's what I play. One player hits bombs, like he can hit them 500 feet, 500 yards. I'm sorry. He can hit them 500 yards. And then there's another person that can, they hit they hit ropes, but it don't go 500 yards. They might have warning track power, but they fast AF. They much faster than the one that hit bomb. So you got to find your lane. You got to find where you have your privilege and where you excel, and you go from there. Don't worry about what everybody else got. Don't worry about what advantage somebody else has. Figure out your advantage and win with that. And then guess what? Maybe one day the one that had the advantage of one thing and you got the advantage of yours, y'all at some kind of networking event, chopping it up. You in a space where you ready to level up, they're in a space they're ready to level up, and you both have the thing that the other one is looking for. And now y'all really about to put that shit together and level up. So you got to look at it like that. At least that's how I look at life. That's how I look at it at life. I'm just saying. L Boogie, what's up, bro? How we doing, man? How we doing? And then did you coming in with the doggone super sticker? I appreciate it, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. Salute to you, man. I appreciate that. All right, let me roll on in. Being in the presence of being in the presence of the company that owner, you were saying. That might have been to the question I asked earlier. All good. Yeah. I think what I was just saying on that is it was, I think I was there. I think I was there with him, and then I wasn't present to realize that that's who it was. But I wasn't looking, for him. I was looking at the car. So yeah, I guess that's what we're getting at. But it's okay. It's okay. Now to the other point, to another point. Excuse me. To another point. I talked about the experience of South by Southwest, and here's where kind of get into the connections of the year and how that has brought me forward into June. And one of the things going into the year, I talked about filmmaking. I talked about the type of content that I wanted to make and that I'm making. The other thing was, talking to the filmmakers at South by, it really put me in a place of, man, I've really got to get on a set. I've never made a film with anyone, like a group of people. Making content is different, way different than making a film, especially if you're a solo creator. I am a solo creator. Yes, I get the opportunity maybe to collab here and there, but it's not something that I do often. I am a solo creator, so I am the one that's sitting here writing down ideas in this notepad or this memo pad when I'm out, or putting it in my phone. I am the one expanding on the script. I am the one that's taking the camera and going to film. I'm offloading that, throwing that on the Mac or the iPad, and editing and publishing that stuff, and then coming up with the marketing strategy and the other things that I'm needing to do to generate revenue, especially from AdSense or from affiliate marketing. So I am wearing all of the hats. That's not happening making a film. That's not happening, not effectively. Maybe it happens. Let's just say that. I won't put a definitive on that. That is not normal when it comes to making a film. Here's the reason why I say, especially great films, you need different perspectives. When it comes to sharing, making a film, especially that shares about life, documentaries are a little bit different. But even on a documentary, you need other people to do some other aspects of what's happening. That's difficult, and I've learned that from the directors that I am in a school with, in a film course, film school, film academy. That's what I'm trying to say, in a film academy. So hearing it from them, it's doable to run and gun by yourself and create a documentary or a short film, but it is much easier. Not easier. It is much. The advantages in having a team. The advantage is having more people surrounded. You are surrounded by that gives you different perspectives, so that you can hone in on those perspectives and share the story impartially. So one of the things I wanted to do, I was like, man, I got to get on somebody's set. I need to see what it actually looks like and feels like to be around a director and a producer and the actors and the sound guy and the lighting team and the makeup artists and the whole thing. And South by Southwest afforded me the opportunity to work with some amazing team members. One of the guys' name is Teo. We worked together at South Lamar, and we got to talking. I told him what my journey looked like this year and next couple of years, like what my plan is. And we were like, bet we gonna work on something together. We're gonna work on some projects together. So a 48-hour contest came up maybe 3 weeks to a month ago. He reached out to me and said, hey man, you still want to work with me on a film project? I was like, heck yes. He's like, okay, cool. It's a 48-hour project. When I get more information, I'll let you know. And as we got closer, my schedule was thick, but I was like, man, I ain't gonna be able to do it right now. Oh my gosh. But remembering how important this is to my journey, just adding this one thing, this one piece to being a part of something that is going to help me have a better vantage point, the experience and understanding. Is this truly something I want to do? Is this truly something I can do? What are the pieces that are needed? What's the temperament of of the director and all sorts of things. What does an actor, how are they going to ask questions, or how do they move, and like what's that whole thing all about? So I was like, okay, yeah, just tell me when. And I think I found out we shot last Saturday, not this past Saturday, but 2 Saturdays ago. So we shot 2 Saturdays ago, and I think he was letting me know like that Wednesday. Like that Wednesday, I was like, golly. I said, well, I'm in. Let's go. So I ended up going downtown Austin, met up with everybody. I kind of vlogged a little bit. Of course, I had my A7 III. I don't go anywhere without this A7 III at least. And so I vlogged a little bit, captured this Porsche that was down there, pretty dope. The vibe was just amazing. Met some of the team, and due to some things that were out of our control, we were waiting for. I never posted that up. Thanks again, man. I let the folks see it. Hey, don't freeze on me. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And then out of our control was getting in the building, but we finally got in the building. And let's just say that I ended up taking my camera, just naturally shooting behind the scenes footage. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm gonna shoot some photos and video, and I will share that with you when everything is done. And he was like, man, that is cool, because he said they did ask for us to share BTS footage. So, and I was like, that's what's up. Cars with Lewis, what's up, bro? Boy, long time no see, no hear. Hope everything is going well with you and your family. Happy Father's Day. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers in here, by the way. If I didn't say it. I didn't say it beforehand, but I'm saying it now. Happy Father's Day. And even if I didn't say it on Father's Day, I'm saying it now. So you give me a pass. I'm just being silly now. But yeah. We shot the film. Again, I made the behind the scenes footage for him, and that was actually even dope. That opened up a whole nother conversation. About BTS filming, shooting, different lane. We're gonna explore that. But yeah, I ended up doing that, and it was an amazing. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. It was an amazing event. It was a success. We actually went to the showcase of all the films, which were about 9 or 10 or so films were showcased this past weekend. And it was amazing, man. It was amazing to be a part of that process, and to hear when I got there, because I got there a tad late. To hear that, man, they were in awe. It was like, bro, it said you was all over the place. I was like, huh? It was like, yeah, all your behind the scenes footage was up, your photos and stuff like that. They like showed all that stuff. I was like, okay, all right. Hey, cool. I'm doing my thing, man. I'm just doing my thing, having fun. That's it. Doing what I naturally do, and providing, trying to provide value. That is like the biggest thing. I'm going to have fun. I'm always going to have fun. But I seek to provide value to the people that I work with. I want to bring value to the table and fun to the table, and whatever I can share and help you learn and go through the process and become a better version of you. That's what I bring to the table everywhere I go. So it was great to see that that's what happened there. And what I can say is that was one of those other moments that I look back at the start of the year, and I even look back toward the end of last year, because it was really last year that set me up for this year, and it's setting me up for 2025. The halfway point, and it was around June or July of last year, the key was I looked at 2024 and said, what do I want to happen in 2024? Like, what is the game plan for 2024? And not just 2024, 2025. Because in 2024, I was like, I'm going to be filming. And for the most part, I'm going to be filming local events, like specific key events. I'm not going to 1,000 events. I'm going to several key events, 3, 4, maybe 5 key events. And then next year, I'm going to add to that by doing something even greater, even greater stretch. And, that is what 2025 hinges on, the things that I am doing in 2024. But these 6 months of 2024 does not happen without setting myself up for success, the halfway point of 2023. So as I'm reflecting on, 2024, from January to this present June 18th, January 1 to June 18th, there's a lot of highlights from the car events. There's some low points from those car events too, because I wasn't able to do what I thought I would do. But I learned, I learned from that. I really learned from that. And I found out that, or I reminded myself that I'm very resilient. I'm a very resilient individual, because the baseball career doesn't happen without being resilient, having courage, doing things that other people won't do, and just figuring out how to become my better version, you in integrity. And when I say better version, then I'm talking about, how do I become better at what I do? Like, I am I am a gold glover. So my big thing during that professional run was that nothing could get past me. Like, nothing could get past me. Not if I get my glove on it, it did not get past me. So I worked on that footwork, glove work, being smooth, and the transition and everything, the mental game. And that was the other aspect, other than how I looked and how I felt and being fluid. It was the mental game. The mental game was moving those chess pieces. If you ever played chess, chess is not like checkers. Checkers is reactive. Checkers is reacting to the next person's move to make the jumps, the double jump, back jumps, whatever jumps that you're allowing yourself to do. In chess, man, that's a whole strategy. You looking 2, 3, 4 plays down the line, like looking to see, well, if he moves this one, I'm doing this. If he moves that, I'm doing this. So in baseball is the same way. Like, if I'm sitting over there at short second with runners on first and third, if a ball is hitting the outfield, to which side, left or right, deep or shallow, that run at third is tagging up. Is it less than 2 outs? Is it 2 outs? So I'm not even worried about what's happening with the guy on third base. If it's a routine play, I'm just trying to pop up, get the catch. Ground ball, if it's to my right, I'm going second. If it's to my left, of course, I'm going right to first. So if it's less than 2 hours, I already know what I'm doing, depending on where the ball carries me. So the mental game is reacting to, the mental game is processing the different scenarios so that all I have to do is react, because I already played it out in my head. So what that reminds me of for setting me up for 2024 and reflecting on 2023 set me up for what's happening in 2024, and that's setting me up for what's to happen in 2025. These things don't happen by mistake. Getting a chance to create this film doesn't happen if I don't go into January and February looking for South by, because of a conversation I had back in October of 23 pertaining to South by, putting something out, making an announcement about the volunteers. And then that doesn't happen, the theater manager doesn't happen with me being observant and listening. I happen to be listening to a conversation that a guy was having with a young lady about theater manager position, because now I was looking to work in film, but I would have just been a regular volunteer. I wouldn't have been managing, I wouldn't have been a theater manager. I'd just been a regular volunteer. But listening, being engaged, aware, and listening, that got me into that opportunity, that position. That didn't happen by chance. I still had to decide to go. I still had to, be aware and listen to what's actually happening, and then, introduce myself. Don't be scared to talk. Introduce myself, and then that led to all the things. And then I meet Tayo. And then I have the opportunity to be called on based on our conversation and how I move and being a creator. So I don't think for once that he didn't check to see what kind of content I make. Yeah. I don't think for once he didn't do that. I'm sure he did that to see what kind of content I make. All right, is this really a cinematographer? Like, let me see his work. Is this somebody I can work with? Because if I don't see anything that shows his work, then hey, he's just blowing smoke. So, but none of this stuff, like I said, reflecting, none of this happened by chance. None of it happened by chance. I know they say the stuff is called, they call stuff luck. I don't believe in luck. I don't. The thing that I've understood is to be prepared for the situation. Being prepared when the door opens, not getting prepared after it opens. So for me, it's in doing the things to be prepared that when opportunities happen, I'm already ready. I don't have to get ready. It's not lucky for me to meet Tayo if I made it a point to go downtown to the convention center, to the volunteer workshop, to tell them that I want to volunteer, to be there when Cameron is actually named, Cameron is having the conversation with, I think I even told her, Anna. So Cameron is talking to Anna about this opportunity and I'm listening. I don't think that's luck, because that doesn't happen if I don't put myself there to be there. That's just that's how I believe it. That's how I see it. So all the things that have happened this year is not luck. Getting the opportunity to work with the exchange, or the exotic network, that's not luck. That's me being in the DMs talking to them. That's me going to the events. That's me, commenting on posts. That's all the different things and making sure I'm at the right place at the right time, and making sure I'm ready, making sure I'm posting content, making sure my content aligns with their vision and the things that they're doing. So I'll say this last couple of things. If you haven't seen a couple of these videos, one is, in fact, where is my phone is there, so I'm not going to be able to do it. Let me see if I can pull up. I'm gonna put a couple of videos down here. One is, this one is where I'm talking about the E92 M3. And I made mention of the high mileage and the things that I had done and had not done to the vehicle. So that is that particular video. If you want to check that out, hopefully that comes through where you can click on it. Let me know if you can. Again, actually, I think I can look right here. And let me see if, the link is down there. So that is there. I want to share with you another one so that if you don't know if you're in the market, if you're ready to buy your first exotic car, whether that happens to be a Lamborghini or not, check this video out, because you talk about an opportunity that comes up. This is somebody else that I met on Instagram that actually worked at a dealership, a Porsche dealership here in Austin, that got an opportunity to run sales in San Antonio for the Lamborghini dealership, and it's not even finished being built yet. Are they selling cars? Of course, they have. They have inventory there, and cars are getting sold. Paperwork and all that kind of stuff has to happen. Legalities and things have to happen first before the car can roll off the lot. But things are already happening. But I had an in-depth conversation with him about what it takes to buy a Lamborghini. I was just there. I saw the Instagram post, the stories, and everything else, and about coming to get content. I was like, shoot, I'll go. Lamborghini, come on, I'll go. I'll take that little ride to San Antonio, and I went, and it turned out to be something way different than what I was going there for. So that was an awesome conversation about purchasing a Lamborghini and what that takes. And like I said, if you're in the market for a supercar, hey, check out check him out. And Alex, why was I getting blank on it? Now I don't know why I was getting blank on the name. I think I was trying to say check out the content, but then at the same time, if you're not ready, that's where I was going. Okay, I was drawing a blank. My bad. I was like, if you're not ready for one, that's not something you even thinking about right now. Just listen to the conversation and hear some of the other financial plays that go into this, because that's, if I was someone listening or watching this, those would be the key things that would stand out to me. Is some of those things that he was talking about with assets and things like that that helps build a portfolio that makes you an appealing client for an exotic car, and in this case, Lamborghini. So those are the two videos. Let me look. Let me see. Is there anything? Was there anything else? Oh, of course. Impact. If you have not seen the after short, definitely take a look at the after short. There is another one where it's more vlog style. I'll put them both in here if you want to check them out. This one is more, this is the vlog at Impact that was here just a couple to 3 weekends ago. And you'll see in the thumbnail, a non-BMW stole the show. It literally stole the show for me. It had me speechless. I couldn't even do my job. I couldn't even do my job anymore. And then the last one is the after short, like I said, as I called it. That one's the more cinematic, like catch up from the first video, just to kind of check that out. So those are there for you. Unless you have some questions that you want to drop in the chat about anything that I have shared that could help you, on your creative journey in terms of making content as a solopreneur, entrepreneur, or whatever that is. Maybe it's just questions about life. I've got plenty of life experience to share as a 46-year-old man. And great part about it is I am still learning. I'm never too mature to learn. I'm never too old to learn. I am always wanting to learn from people, reading books, whether that's physical, the physical copy, or listening to an audio book. Those are the things that keep me abreast of what's happening in the world that matters to me. I don't get stuck on. I don't watch a lot of news, man. I don't watch a lot of news. There's things that are happening that I don't even know has happened. I don't know the stages that it's in, because I will tell you, in 2020, that kind of stuff spiraled me into a deep depression and heavy anxiety, because I felt I wasn't doing my part. Like we're inundated with so much information at one time. Like never in our lives have we had so much information at one time, that if you're a caring person that want to do something to make a difference, or if you're the type of person that just easily gets fired up, passionate about some key thing or aspect of life, whether that's animal rights, whether that's civil rights, whether that's privacy, whatever it is, if you get passionate about that, you can get riled up really, really good. And you're pulled in so many different directions. It's like, well, what am I going to do? What am I, this one person right here, going to do to make this huge difference in the world? Like, I had to come to realize that there's not one thing I can do to make any of that stuff any better. It's not. I can donate all the money that I want to donate. Does that make me feel good at night? It doesn't. Because number one, I don't know where the heck the money going to. The money probably, we already know. Well, I have learned, when it comes to, some of these organizations, things like that, you do have volunteers, but you do have paid workers that are working, and you got overhead supplies and all that stuff. All that stuff gets a chunk of the money you're donating. So unless you're donating it in a way that it goes directly to the people that need it, then even donating money isn't helping directly. It's helping indirectly. So there's only so much we can do as an individual. Yeah, there's things we can do at our local level, at the county, the city, the state, all of that. I got it. We can do that. But at the end of the day, I had to come to realize that, you know how I make a difference? I make this content right here. That's how I make an impact. Because guess what? The part that I felt bad about with all the other stuff is I was like, cars are not important. Lives are important. Black Lives Matter, that is important. What's has happened over in Gaza and the UK and South Korea and any other country that things are hell right here in America. All the things that are happening, all these things matter. But at the end of the day, most people do take a break from watching that, right? Like, what do they watch? They watch stuff on Netflix movie. They come here to YouTube like me and watch a lot of YouTube, and a lot of it's car stuff. Some of it's comedy. Some of it's lifestyle, like cigars and travel, and again cars. So it's like I realized that my content is important. Cars are important because when people aren't watching that anymore and they take that break from being inundated with what's happening in the world and just stretched thin on what they can or can't do to help, they got to let their hair down and relax too. So maybe they have an Alpha Stelvio QV that they want to change their wipers. They're like, man, I got to take a load off. Let me go change these wipers, man. I'm tired of watching this stuff. And they go change their wipers. They find my content, they go change their wipers. Maybe they want to go to a car event and couldn't go. They're like, you know what? Let me go find me some car stuff. Crispy Media got some stuff out there. L Boogie might have some stuff out there. AB, you're auto enthusiast with this. Oh, okay, let me check this out. Oh, hey, this is dope. This is dope. Oh, yeah. Hey, I ain't never seen one of those. I ain't never seen the Koenigsegg Regera. What is that? What is that? What is a Nilu? I had to come to the point to realize this content is important. It was my own negative self-talk and just putting the value on everything else that I thought it wasn't important. So at the end of the day, we are doing our stuff. I see you laughing now, Boogie. Hey, at the end of the day, there is something that you can do. Work on you. And if you want to create content, create content. If there's something that you want to make, there's a service that you have, there's a product that you have, if there's a business that you want to make better as an employee or as an executive or as a consultant, you are making the world better. Focus on that thing. Spend your time focusing on you. Become a better version of you. Like, stop being so inundated with the content. And even content, I'll say that too, but I was gonna say like the news and stuff. Stop being so inundated with that. And yes, when it comes to making content, you do have to pull away from watching stuff because that blocks you from being and creating and having the vision for your stuff, because it's involving everybody else's creation. That is hard to do. It is very difficult to do when you have strong passion, will, and vision to make your thing happen. Yeah, you can take some cues from somebody, how they shot something, an angle or a story, or how the the information that they gathered, how they gathered the information, understanding the process. Yeah, there are those things that will help influence or help guide you along it. But after a while, you got to turn the noise off, all of it, everything, and start making and doing the thing that you want to do. So I encourage you. To let me back up before I even say that. First off, if you're still here, thank you. I appreciate you. I've been on here for an hour and 40 minutes on the dot, as I said that. So thank you for hanging in here with me. And kind of going back with me as I reflect, and I even learn more things as I sit here and reflect, and being I'm those things are resonating with me, and I'm being impacted by the things that I'm sharing. So thank you for being here, and I hope something that I said is helping you look at life different, helping you look at your content different, helping you look at your space, yourself different, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm hoping it's helping you become a better version of yourself. I put that thing at the end screen, creating car content that heals on purpose. That is directly at DIYs, number one, because we're fixing our cars and modding our cars, so it's making our cars feel better. So it is healing. It's car content that heals our cars. But at the same time, anybody that knows me is passionate. That knows me knows that I am passionate about developing self, about self-care, self-awareness, self-healing, self-love. The mental health journey for me has been huge. I remember a couple of years ago when I couldn't get on here and really have a conversation because I was just in that space, trying to figure myself out, trying to work through where I was. So this is huge. So that creating car content that heals, it's on purpose. It's on purpose. It's a play on words, but it's definitely that purpose is there. I'm right on target with that, because these are the types of conversations that I want to have with you about cars and about ourselves as a person and how we become better. That's the win. That's the play right there. That's the play, becoming a better version of yourself. So as I roll out of here, I don't see any questions in the comment section. So again, I thank you all for tuning in today. Again, there are the highlighted videos that you can take a look at. The high mileage example, buying a Lamborghini. Like I said, the play on buying a Lamborghini is just listen to some key things that Alex says. Dope. You don't know how close you are to actualizing your dreams until you have information, and that was a huge day for me specifically. And Impact, that was the last event, and then the last vlog, and then the last short film or after short is Impact ATX. So check those out when you have time. And again, be sure to take time for yourself and relax and figure out what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what doesn't bring you joy, what doesn't make you happy. Those are the things that we have to do to understand ourselves. It's not even cool to put ourselves in situations that we don't even like, putting ourselves around people that doesn't mean any good for us. Constantly showing up for people that don't even care, constantly showing up for people that don't reciprocate the same thing, and constantly showing up to jobs. And that's my biggest pet peeve is that one is showing up to a job that you absolutely hate, and you have all the resources around you to change your lifestyle. You have all the resources around you to start that business that you want to start making content that you want to make. And it's not that you got to quit. It's making your life better, because as you start making your life better, the stuff that's happening there that impacts you negatively, that stuff don't even bother you no more. Like those people that get on your nerves don't even get on your nerves, because you ain't even focused on them like that no more. Like they can't even come to you like that anymore. Like you don't even hear them say the shit that they say anymore. The little nonsense, the little bickering or whatever they say, you ain't paying that shit no attention. You're like, okay, yeah, whatever. I'm not even there to hear that. I ain't hanging out in the break room. I am at the park, at the beach. I'm in my car, eating my lunch, listening to some chill music, chill vibe, lo-fi, taking a nap. Maybe I'm listening to an audiobook talking about finance, talking about investments, talking about something positive. Remove yourself from that element and work on the shit that you need to work on to make your life better. Nobody can do that for you but you. The closeout that's coming right now is what I say after every video. Show up for yourself and love yourself, because you got to do that for you before you can do that for anybody else. Excuse me. I'll say it again. Show up for yourself, love yourself, because you got to do that for you before you can do that for anybody else. If you don't know how to do it for you, how the heck you think you're going to be able to do it for somebody else? You can't. You absolutely cannot. So you got to learn how to do that. Step up for yourself. Figure out what you like, what you don't like, what you want to do to make life better for you. In turn, will make life a little bit more better for somebody else, more pleasurable, something. But you got to do it for you. All right. I'm getting out of here. Appreciate y'all again. And as always, y'all know what to do. Keep driving. Salute.